Have you ever been in the middle of a conversation and suddenly realized you're the only one doing the heavy lifting? You're telling a story, you're laughing, you're filling every single gap in the air because, let's be honest, the silence feels a little bit like a threat. It feels like a vacuum that might suck the oxygen right out of the room if you don't keep pumping words into it. And right there, across from you, is that one person. You know the type. They aren't rude, they aren't ignoring you, but they aren't saying a word. They just watch. They are the still point in a turning world. Most of us look at people like that and feel a weird mix of pity and frustration. We think they're shy, or maybe they're just socially awkward, or maybe they simply have nothing to contribute to the social marketplace. We treat their silence like a blank page that we have to fill with the ink of our own voices. But tonight, I want us to sit down and look at this group from a completely different perspective. We aren't looking at a wallflower or someone who can't fit in. We are looking at the silent architect. While the rest of us are busy broadcasting our highlight reels and burning through our social energy like a gasping engine of destiny, these individuals are doing something much more intense. They are downloading the source code of the room. They aren't missing the conversation. They are the only ones truly seeing it. If you've ever wondered what's actually happening behind those quiet eyes, prepare yourself. Because once you understand the internal geopolitics of the unspoken, you'll realize that the person who says the least is often the one who holds all the cards in the game of ghosts. Let's be real, talking is often nothing more than a defense mechanism. For most of us, the static generators, words are a shield, a barricade we build to hide the shivering reality of our own souls. We speak because we're terrified of what happens when the sound stops, fearful that if we stop talking, people will see our insecurities, or worse, they'll stop looking at us altogether. We treat our words as a currency of attention, desperate for a transaction. But for the sovereign of the void, silence isn't a hole to be filled. It's a high-definition laboratory. When you look at someone who stays quiet, you aren't looking at a stalled engine. You are looking at a biological supercomputer that has shifted 100% of its power from output to processing. The data from the lab, specifically research coming out of Harvard, shows that when you stop talking, your prefrontal cortex, the command center of your logic and executive function, doesn't take a nap. In fact, it starts firing twice as hard as the person who is currently blabbering. It's like switching from a grainy, low-res security camera to 4K high-definition satellite imagery. While the noise merchants are wondering if they look cool or if their joke landed, the unblinking sentry is busy mapping the minefield. They see the microstutter in your voice when you mention your job. They notice the way your eyes dart to the exit when someone mentions a specific person. They aren't judging you in a mean way. They are simply seeing you with a level of clarity that most people are too loud to ever achieve. Their mind is an engine of observation, stripping away the social masks to reveal the raw machinery of human intent beneath. But here's where we need to get specific, because quiet isn't a one-size-fits-all label. As we discuss this group, we have to realize they are divided into 4 distinct psychological legions, each with their own secret mission. The first group is the ghost on the battlefield, or what we might call the conversational escape artist. You've definitely met them. They are in the circle, they are nodding, they look totally engaged, but the second you toss them a social grenade, a direct question like, "So, what's your take on this?" they catch it and immediately throw it back at you before it can explode in their face. "Oh, that's a deep one, Mike, but I'm much more curious about your new project. You mentioned it earlier." Boom, they've redirected the spotlight. They aren't quiet because they're scared. They're quiet because they are playing strategic defense. They know that every word you speak is a piece of yourself you're giving away, a fragment of territory surrendered to the observer. They'd rather keep their emotional fortress locked tight while they watch you exhaust yourself until you have no secrets left to hide. They are the sovereign of stealth, and they are watching the world leak its secrets while they stay completely invisible, a phantom in the machine of society. The second group we need to analyze is the sovereign of substance, also known as the deep sea diver. These are the people who absolutely loathe small talk. To them, talking about the weather or what some celebrity did on Instagram feels like trying to fuel a jet engine on cheap soda. It's a glitch in the machinery that they refuse to tolerate. They aren't being rude. They just refuse to waste their mental life force on junk data. They are waiting for the signal, not the noise. They'll sit there looking bored or disconnected, but the second the conversation hits a tectonic shift, the moment someone talks about human nature, a real fear, or a massive ambition, they wake up. Their eyes light up like a white dwarf star. They aren't shy. They are high-value signal processors. They are simply waiting for a frequency worth tuning into. If the conversation is shallow, they stay in the abyssal quiet of their own thoughts, building empires in their minds while everyone else talks about the rain. For them, a conversation is a transaction of truth, and they refuse to trade their gold for your copper. They aren't ignoring you. They're just waiting for you to say something that actually matters in the grand architecture of destiny. But the most dangerous person in the room, the one we really need to understand, is the unblinking analyst. This is the person who is literally recording your biosignals while you speak. While you're talking, they aren't listening to your words, they're listening to the gaps between them. They are catching the 0.04-second flashes of contempt or the shadow of sadness that crosses your face when you talk about your perfect life. They are human lie detectors. In the lab, we've seen that when a person doesn't provide those cheap social rewards, the fake nodding, the ahus, the nervous laughter, the other person's nervous system begins to panic. We call this the still face protocol. It is a psychological vacuum. Because the analyst refuses to be a frantic mirror for your ego, you lose your sense of direction. You start to over-explain. You start to ramble. You start handing them your secrets on a silver platter just to make the silence stop, just to get some reaction to validate your existence. Your silence is a vacuum, and the analyst knows that nature abhors a vacuum. They are the interrogators, who don't even need to ask a question to get a full confession. They just wait for you to drown in the ocean of your own noise. Finally, we have the prisoner of the inner voice. This is the silence that society usually calls low confidence, but let's look at it through a different lens. Hyper-resolution processing. These are the people whose internal world is so loud and so complex that they can't find a way to translate it into simple words. They are the fallen titans trapped inside a machinery of destiny that is working overtime. They aren't quiet because they have nothing to say. They are quiet because they have too much times to say, and they are trying to find the perfect calibration for their response. They are hyper-aware of every possible outcome, every social nuance, and every potential mistake. Their mind is like a gasping engine trying to process a million variables at once. It's not a lack of power, it's an abundance of data. They are the architects of chaos, trying to build a bridge of words across a stormy ocean of thought. If you are one of them, know this. Your brain is a nuclear reactor, and the world just hasn't learned how to plug into your grid yet. You aren't broken. You are simply over-engineered for a shallow world, a machine built for deep space navigation, trying to drive on a dirt road. Think about why this makes the rest of us so uncomfortable. Why does their silence feel like a drawn sword? It's because the noise merchants are addicted to dopamine, the quick, cheap hit of attention that keeps their system from crashing. They need the crowd to feel high, but the silent architects run on acetylcholine. This is the premium fuel of deep focus, calm, and internal mapping. They are running on the long road of the brain, processing information through deep storage and logic circuits. While the dopamine addicts are reacting like pinballs hitting bumpers, the quiet observer is the grandmaster, looking 10 moves ahead, anticipating every tectonic shift in the conversation. They aren't antisocial, they're just high resolution. They don't want to play in the dirt when they know how to build skyscrapers in their mind. This is the macro-metaphorical expansion of the quiet soul. They are a sovereign pilot in a world of screaming passengers, calm because they can see the flight path while everyone else is blinded by the clouds. But how can we, whether we are the talkers or the observers, use this knowledge? How do we turn this realization into a surgical weapon? We use the 3-second gap. This is the surgical protocol that separates the leaders from the followers. It is a tactical procedure for your own nervous system. The next time someone asks you a question or tries to provoke you, don't jump in like a frantic animal. Wait, count to 3 in your head. 1, 2, 3. In those 3 seconds, the other person's brain will start to short circuit. They'll think, why aren't they responding? Are they mad? Are they smarter than me? Do they know something I don't? While they are spinning their tires in a panic loop of insecurity, you are regaining total control of your internal empire. You are moving from your lizard brain back into the commander's seat of the prefrontal cortex. This gap is a tectonic filter that catches all the emotional debris and leaves only pure strategy. It synchronizes your heart rate, resets your heart rate variability, and ensures that when you finally speak, your voice is steady and your words cut through the noise like a guillotine. You aren't just answering a question, you are delivering a final verdict that ends the debate. Silence is the ultimate freedom because it is the only thing the architects of chaos cannot use against you. They can twist your words, they can misinterpret your tone, but they cannot find a handhold in your quiet. It is a smooth, impenetrable wall of a fortress that refuses to fall. Mastering your silence is the first step to mastering your world. The lab has shown us the map. We have dissected the neurology, the social psychology, and the tactical benefits of the quiet. We've seen how the prefrontal cortex hums with the power of 1,000 suns when the mouth is shut. We've seen how the still face acts as a surgical tool to extract the hidden truths of the world. Now, as our discussion begins to fade, I want you to look around the room you are in right now. Look at the people in your life. Who is talking? Who is shouting for attention? And more importantly, who is watching? What are the static generators trying to hide behind their wall of sound? And more importantly, which of the 4 legions are you actually dealing with? We are reaching the final epiphany. Society will always try to fix the quiet. They want everyone to be a static generator, just like them, because silence makes them realize how empty their own noise actually is. They want people to come out of their shell, so they don't have to deal with the abyssal reflection of their own insecurities. But the Fate Observer is here to tell you that this group of silent individuals is not a puzzle to be solved. They are the sovereigns of the void, whether they are the ghost, the sovereign, the analyst, or the prisoner. Their silence is their strength. It is a bunker of the soul. It is the place where they see the world as it truly is, not as people want them to see it. Marcus Aurelius and the masters of the ancient porch understood that the mind is a citadel. The noise of the world is a siege, a relentless bombardment of opinions and social demands. But the silent observer has a secret back door to the treasury of peace. They realize that silence is the ultimate freedom. The lab is closing and the lights are dimming, but the truth is now burning in your synapses like a white dwarf star. You no longer need to feel awkward about your quiet, nor should you feel inferior when you sit back and observe. You are the observer at the center of the storm. Tomorrow, when you walk into that room and someone asks you why you're so quiet, don't give them a boring answer. Just look at them with the eyes of a silent architect. Let the silence hang in the air like a drawn sword. Watch them leak their own secrets as they scramble for your approval. And then, when the time is right, give them the final verdict. If you have felt the epiphany of this truth, and you're ready to stop being a passenger of fate and start being the architect of the quiet, leave a single mark, a period, in the comments below. It is our secret signal. It means you've finally realized that the quietest person in the room is the one who actually owns the game. Master your silence, and you will master your world. Class dismissed.